Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, this is a Sunday morning episode of Bullet Points. This is the show that what we really dive into is a little bit more personality, a little bit more response to opinion, and kind of meet the left gun control agenda where they're coming at us in the print media and interviews, things of that nature. And we give a voice a little bit more in a direct opposition to what they're coming at us with. Now, this is a supplement show to our 9 p.m. slot every single night where we talk about 2A advocacy, 2A news, the things that are going on, the why, the gun controllers, all the pieces. So make sure you hit that every night at 9 p.m. But today for the episode of Bullet Points, we're going to build on the video that we did about a week and a half ago. It's on the screen right here. It's linked in a card and also in the description box. But New Mexico came out and started floating some ideas based off of a tragedy, which is the way it always goes down, around safely securing your firearms and the penalties of such. For example, referral to family services for families with children. Felonies on your record if you don't store something correctly according to the state. Now that's important. Check out that video. I hit all the details in it. But there's a bit of development. A bill has actually been introduced based on that video or that concept. But let's dive in. I want to hear what you guys think, and everything is linked in the description box below for your review. Shooting prompts lawmakers to draft gun safety law. I'm not going to put it on the screen. You can figure out why. YouTube doesn't like that. Harold Bailey, president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in Albuquerque, joined State Rep. Pamela Herndon, Democrat, Albuquerque, on Saturday to announce the drafting of the Benny Hargrove Gun Safety Act. Now, the incident that they're referring to give you some context, is a tragedy that happened in New Mexico. Juan Saucedo Jr., an 8th grader at Washington Middle School, is accused of fatally shooting his classmate Hargrove during lunch break on August 13th. Authorities say Saucedo Jr. had taken the gun from his father. Authorities are investigating whether the father will face charges in this case. Okay, so there's a few things, because this is the thing. If you want to tell me that a 12 to 13-year-old will naturally go to ultimate violence as the solution to any problem that they have without prior influence and multiple years that dive into that decision making, especially through puberty and decision making processes, I say you're crazy. When we have a culture that glorifies violence in music, glorifies violence in entertainment, all the video games multiple hours a day are violent. If you're telling me that a bunch of kids, an entire generation, bathed in an environment of violence through their entertainment, is it any surprise that that's an actual logical solution that people will jump to when they're young and they're prepubescent or pubescent? We have a deeper root issue that a 12 and 13-year-old decision equates to, I'm going to do this terminal action. This is a lot deeper than a gun sitting in a closet whispering throughout the whole night when they're sleeping, I'm the solution, I'm the solution. That's just not happening. We have a much deeper cultural root issue with our hearts as a nation. And the sooner that we realize that, the sooner that we're going to be better off. But right now, the left wants to go to legislation. They always want to legislate morality. You cannot legislate morality. It's impossible. If that were the case, we would not have murders in all the major cities. We would not have drug deals because all these laws exist. The fact is, you can't legislate morality. And the sooner that we realize that as a people, the sooner we'll start to address cultural influences and issues that lead to these conclusions. That's that thing. But let's get back to this. Quote, Benny was shot not one time, not two times, but 6 times. Could it have been prevented? The answer to that question is absolutely yes, Herndon said during a news conference at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Albuquerque. All we are asking is that individuals who decide and determine that they want to have a control of a handgun or any type of weapon, that you control it in a safe and secure manner. This is one of my red flags in life. If a politician or someone in power is coming to you and saying, all we're asking for is common sense gun reform, all we're asking for is that if you decide to do that, that's just all we're asking for. When you lead in from that perspective, that ain't working out for me. Because that means you're trying to override reason with all we're asking for. I just want to go out, stay up 45 minutes later. That's it. It's a big, bad problem. We don't want to talk about that. Had that happened on Friday afternoon, today we would not be here honoring the life of Benny Hargrove. And that could truly be possible in that one instance. But going back to what I said earlier, if there is a cultural rot, if there is a problem of our hearts and a disease of our hearts in our culture, do you really think that one firearm not being accessible is going to prevent outcomes at a different time? Because you can't say that. However, what you are doing is you're trying to legislate morality and imposing penalties on people who are obeying the Second Amendment well, not obeying, they're endorsing their Second Amendment rights while obeying laws completely legally, well, now you're imposing more restrictions on them, and they could have serious consequences because of this one instance. You cannot legislate morality across an entire group of people when, number one, you have eliminated morality altogether and ethics don't exist, and your truth is the only thing you got to find in life. You can't have 350 million versions of truth, people. Just saying. Herndon said the legislation the specifics of which are still being worked out, seeks to charge anyone who does not secure their firearms with a fourth-degree felony. Now, there's two things here. One, you're a felon. There go your Second Amendment rights. You can't do it anymore because you did not store a firearm according to the state standards. Not your standards, not your safety standards, not what's good for you, but state standards. Now, you're a felon. Enjoy the rest of your life being a felony on your record because you didn't store something the way someone told you to. Which, by the way, is a legal right across the board. And this is where the representative actually gets into what I'm talking about with the disease of the heart. We have a problem here in Albuquerque and America. Our youth are becoming gangsters and killers at 12 and 13 years of age. We must address this phenomenon. It's not a tremendously hard thing to assess. You have a culture bathed in violence from a very young age, from about 8 before puberty. When you're continuing this situation through puberty, that becomes part of the calculation. If we start addressing the cultural rot issues, it won't be about the tool, which we're always saying on this channel. It will be about the decision-making based on the influencing factors in a child's life. Parents, you might want to start being more involved in your kids and listening to what they're listening to what they're seeing, and not letting them be part of the violence. I'm just saying. That's just my 2 cents. I'm a father. I can't imagine this happening in my family. But at the same time, I'm not going to restrict the rights of my children because of someone else. And that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and I will see you tonight in the 9 p.m. slot.